Hi, it's Mrs. Sutton, and we're doing lab stations today. I can probably take off my mask. There's no one in here. So we are doing lab stations, and we're going to measure in three ways. We're going to measure with our mass on the triple beam balance. We're going to measure volume with the graduated cylinder, and we're going to measure length with our ruler. So three things we've now covered a little bit, and I want to give you the data today for at least a couple of our stations. So our first station is here. This is station 1. So on your document called Measuring Stations, you should find the row that says Station 1, and then under Mass and Length and Volume, we're going to put this data, all right? So this is the triple beam balance, and we're going to measure this block. This is a plasticky block. We're going to set it, make sure first that all these are down at 0. That's our first task. Then we're going to put the block, and we're also going to make sure that this is right lined up almost with the 0. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to put the block on there, and it tips it up like a seesaw. Sorry, my camera. There we go. And now we're going to try to figure out how much this has for mass. So this is a pretty light block when I pick it up in my own hands, but so I don't think it's quite 100 grams, and I know it's not now because that drops that right down. That's too heavy. So I'm going to move that back. Now I'm going to move this 10s in the back, and I know that's a little hard to see, but this one back here has 10s on it. 10 gram. This is a 10 gram slider. So I'm going to move it to the 10. The 20, it actually drops and starts to almost balance over here. We're very close. I'm going to go back to the 10 because that seemed like it was going below the 0 when I was at 20. So now I know that then it's between the 10 and the 20 on this back scale. So now I'm going to move the single gram up the front and get more exact to the 1/10 of a gram and the single gram. So that was close to 20, so I'm actually going to slide that up pretty high. And we start to drop. And we're going to see that this over here is almost lined up now. When I get very close to the 10, but not quite, I think I'm at right about the 9.8, between the 9.8 and the 9.9. So I've got 10 plus 9.8. So my first data point for mass of station 1 is, I add those together, 19.8 grams. 19.8 grams for mass of station 1. Now I'm going to measure the length of this block. Now, there's an arrow on here for the students in class. I'm going to use my trusty ruler on the centimeter side and make sure I line it up with the 0. On this ruler, it's the very, very end of this ruler. So I'm going to line it up. See if I can get that lined up so I can see it there. Line it up down here. I'm kind of holding it with my finger because there it is. And do you see that this is almost exactly, line it up, Mrs. Sutton, on the 13. So that's 13 centimeters long. So for length, station 1, it's 13 cm. That could be written as 130 millimeters, mm, but you can write 13 cm. The last one is the graduated cylinder. The graduated cylinder is a long tube that holds water in it. In the video we watched, it said that the water kind of curves. It's very slight, but it does curve. So ideally, I would put this on a solid surface because then I can see it flat. It won't be tilted. Just like you're measuring when you're cooking, you want to have it on a flat surface. You should bring your eye to it. So I'm going to bring my eye down to this measurement, and I know it's kind of hard to see the measurements on here, but there's a 10 right there, and there's a 15 up here. And then there's short lines and long lines between the 10 and the 15. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 long lines, and then I get to the 15. So every long line between the 10 and the 15 is 1, and every short line in the middle of those is a half of a milliliter. This is a liter. We're measuring in ml. So I have 10 plus another half to the 11 plus another half. So for volume on this graduated cylinder, volume, station 1, is 11.5 ml. Okay? We'll do one more station. I'm going to go to station 3 for you. It's back here in my classroom. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to measure a couple of different things. So the same process, but we're measuring different items. So first, triple beam balance. See if I can show it to you. We're going to measure this wooden block this time. Put it on there. Oops, let me make sure all my things are slid down. And it's pretty well on 0 right here. That's really important. Put that block on. It drops it this side and pushes this up. Now we want to use these to move it so that it is balanced over here. This one's also fairly light, so I don't think it's 100 grams, but let's check. If I move it to 100, it drops it right down. That's too heavy if I move that weight. So I'm going to move the 10s again. Ooh, what happened when I moved the 10? When I moved it just one notch to 10, it actually dropped it below the 0. So that tells me that it's actually less than 10 grams. Move that back. Let's see. 8.5, not quite. 9.5. Ooh, this one's also way up here at the end of this one. This is a very light block. Not much mass to it. Trying to get it right on the 0. Okay, and so this, I believe, is right around the 9 gram mark. My balance is a little sticky right now. Okay, but it's right around the 9 grams. 8.9 or 9 grams for this wooden block. This is station 3, 9G under the mass. For my graduated cylinder, this is a slightly different looking one. We'll do volume next. And again, I'll show it to you so that you can see. This is a 100 milliliter graduated cylinder. And it starts at 25. So you can't get, this one is not good for measuring below the 25 milliliter mark. 25, and here's the 30. So now I know that every little line between here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is 1 milliliter on this graduated cylinder. And if you look with your eye line right there, it's at the 25, 26, 27. It's right on the 28 line. So this is 28 milliliters of water in this graduated cylinder for station 3. That's the volume, 28 milliliters. And the last thing we're going to do is measure with our ruler. And I have a different color block this time. And this station asks us to measure across one of these holes. Okay? So we're going to measure a small amount. And I've got an orange ruler back here. And this time, I'm going to measure, line up my 0 with the side of that hole. And I see that there's the 5 millimeter, sorry, I'm switching units here. So if I get to the 1, it's 1 centimeter, but this is less than a centimeter. So I believe I'm at the 5 in the middle, 6, 7, I think it hits that 8. So we're at 8 millimeters or 0.8 centimeters. 8 millimeters is the length for station 3. So you should have 2 lines filled out on your document. This is about 8.5 minute video. Thanks for sticking with me. And you can figure out how to add that document back to our assignment today and turn it in. We will also go on to do our density and check in on some more volume. All right? Have a wonderful day, and we'll check in with you on Monday. Have a good weekend.